What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by LOCKCITY. It's Whitey here today. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's having a good start to the weekend by the time you get around to listening to this. Today we have episode 172 of the JuiceBox, which is going to, of course, be a review of today's Blast Bounty multi-picks, as well as some picks for the 4 matchups tomorrow, Saturday, August the 9th, 2025, where we will kick off our round of 16 in the Blast Bounty Multi-Close Qualifier with some pretty exciting bounties on the board. So without further ado, we'll kind of just get into it, quickly review what happened today, and then get into it for tomorrow. So in terms of overall parlays here, we did have a couple that ended up busting that we posted on the video yesterday, but we definitely made up for it today in the Discord. So yesterday, the plays that we gave out, unfortunately, I had a little bit of an oversight where if Mongols lost map 2, both of these plays would end up busting, and unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. So Mongols kind of cruised through the first map, came around to the second map, they lost to Ents. So them doing that busted both of these plays. We were down 4 units. Obviously, we could not end the day like that. So we went to work within the Discord here. We took Aurora minus 1.5 map spread, so them to win 2-0. Flew all the way up to 2.4 yesterday when we grabbed it on this parlay. It was 1.92. So some really good value there. Vitality, like I said in the podcast yesterday, map 1 and map 2, I thought they would cruise on both of those 13-6-ish or better. So we played exactly that. They won both of those maps, I think 13-5 and 13-4 respectively. Map 2, we also laddered it like we said on the pod yesterday, so we went minus 7.5. They needed to win that 13-5 or better, and that is exactly what happened. We then went to Complexity. Map 1 against Heroic was Train. Complexity has a pretty strong train. They ended up winning 13-11. And then map 2 was Ancient. I did think that would be a little bit more competitive. I think the scoreline was 13-5 or 13-6, if I remember correctly. Heroic kind of won that in a little bit of a landslide, so then we stopped there. That did bring us up about 6-ish units on the day. We did lose 4 here. We picked up about 12, and then we lost 2 to end the day. So up about 6 units, and looking forward for tomorrow's games. So for tomorrow, we do have 4 matchups. They finally set the times on them, so that unblocked us for the videos. Teams went through and picked their matchups and respective bounties accordingly. And now we have the time slots set for tomorrow, which is great. So we have 4 matchups here: Astralis and Na'Vi, Virtus.pro and FaZe, G2 and Spirit, and Liquid and FURIA. And then we'll make some live parlays here at the end. In terms of bounties for tomorrow, this is what we have on the board. So Na'Vi and Astralis, 27,500 and 17,500 respectively. FaZe and Virtus.pro, same amounts, 27,500 and 17,500 respectively. Spirit and G2, 57,500 and 17,500 respectively. And then FURIA and Liquid, 27,500 and 12,500 respectively. I think what's happening here with the bounty amounts is that as teams progress to subsequent stages, they kind of lock in some of those bounty amounts. So you'll notice that Spirit last round had a $60,000 bounty. They won, and now it's a $57,500 bounty. I'm assuming what that means is if G2 wins, they claim that $57,500, and then Spirit can still walk away with their 2.5K as coming in the quote-unquote top 16 for the tournament. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. Spirit will win this matchup, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here in terms of bounties, or at least that's my way of mentally justifying it going into the next round of what makes the most sense. So without further ado, we'll kind of hop into it. First one of the day is going to be 6 a.m. Eastern time, which is going to be Astralis and Na'Vi. This one's going to be good. I do think Na'Vi wins, but I do think this is going to be a tight matchup. I liked what we saw out of Na'Vi at IEM Cologne. I thought they were having strong performances. I thought Makazi was having strong performances. I didn't really like what we saw with them against TNL. Obviously, online environment, but same will be the case here. Anything pre-playoffs. So with this, they're still going to be playing online. I don't know in terms of how cohesive they've looked. Obviously, Astralis looked good in the first round, but they were playing Rare Atom, so not really hard to look good in that first round there. I do want to lean Na'Vi on the money line, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if Astralis did sneak an upset here, or at least wins one map. But I do want to lean Na'Vi. It's not a game that I think I'll go super heavy on, which is nice because for me it is first thing in the morning. So it might be one that I go a little bit lighter on and don't work into too many parlays. So we'll see here at the end, but I do lean Navi. I like maybe a map 1 over 20.5 total rounds or over 21.5 total rounds. So we would need each team to win either 8 if we go with 20.5, or each team to win at least 9 if we go with 21.5. But I do lean Navi on the money line for this one. I do think and hope that they sneak past Astralis, as they should. Next one up, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, is going to be Virtus.pro and FaZe Clan. This is going to be another good one. I could see Virtus.pro definitely winning a map here. I could see Virtus.pro potentially pulling an upset. I'm not a FaZe hater, but I would like to see Virtus.pro win this matchup, so I'm gonna live vote Virtus.pro just on a hope and a prayer. But in all actuality, FaZe Clan should win this. Obviously, FaZe is the better team here. If we're scrolling down and looking at map pools, I do think Virtus.pro could win Inferno. I think Virtus.pro could win Overpass. Maybe Dust 2. I don't necessarily think FaZe has the strongest Dust 2 in the world. But then FaZe could also win Dust 2. FaZe could win Mirage. FaZe could win Nuke. FaZe could win Ancient. FaZe could potentially win Overpass. I think maybe like an over 2.5 maps for this one. FaZe on the money line, probably safe. But I think what I'm going to end up playing here at the end of the video when we make some parlays is probably just some overs for map 1 here. Which is sketchy because it's not uncommon that Virtus.pro either starts a map up 10-0 or starts a map down 10-0. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how this progresses and what maps are chosen and how lopsided those maps are and which teams the respective teams have kind of faced on those maps. When we saw these two teams match up last, it was all the way back in March, so not completely relevant. Virtus.pro did actually sneak that matchup out, and this is what I'm talking about. There can be times where Virtus.pro 13-0, and then there can be times where they're up 10-0, but they still squeak one out in overtime, or like this, could be up, I don't know if they were in this map, but they could be up like 9-3, and then lose in overtime. Can't really be trusted, but I'm still going to go with probably an over here for map 1 or map 2. I do lean FaZe on the money line, but my heart wants Virtus.pro to win this matchup. Next one up, going to be my favorite one to talk about of the day, is going to be G2 and Spirit. This one here is going to be an obvious Spirit for me. These odds are dropping very quickly. It was around 1.3. Now it's all the way down to like 1.15 already, which I think is justified. I do think Spirit wins this. Obviously, them dropping a map to Passion UA isn't great. If you look back at 3 of their last 4 matches, they have dropped at least a map. Well, just a map, but in each of their last 4, they have dropped in 3 of those one map. Mind you, against teams that are teams like Navi and Mouse, but this Passion UA one in the online environment wasn't the greatest look, and if Passion UA can steal a map off of them online, then G2 should be able to. I just don't see which map that could end up being. Maybe a Mirage, but that's potentially the only one. I think Spirit crushes them on everything else. Spirit on the money line, obviously a very safe parlay piece. Spirit to win their map pick. I don't know if sometimes they go, this is one of the very few teams where sometimes it's map 1, sometimes it's map 2. Usually the favorite takes map 2, but Spirit's one of those ones that like to shake it up sometimes. So Spirit's one where you kind of have to wait until it's live, see what map they take, and then take their map pick on the money line, take them to win by 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds for their map pick. I think that's very safe, but then Spirit on the money line as a safe parlay piece before we get into what the actual map selections are. I also wouldn't be surprised by like a map 1 over 20.5 or over 21.5 total rounds. Last one that we'll talk about here, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, is going to be Team Liquid and FURIA. This one will be fun as well. FURIA, I agree, should win this matchup. Liquid is a mess right now. Liquid did end up beating Ecstatic 2-0, but as y'all will remember from a couple of days ago, that first map, which was on Train, ended up going like a total of 54 total rounds. I think it was 5, 6 overtimes, however many that was. The scoreline was 28-26, I believe. So however many overtimes that was, but it was an absolute marathon, and then they ended up beating Ecstatic on Ancient in map 2. I think it was 13-9 if I remember correctly, because Ecstatic just ran out of juice. But I do think FURIA wins this. FURIA should wash Ancient. There's no map in the pool except FURIA should watch Liquid. There's no map in the pool except maybe Ancient that Liquid could beat FURIA on. This will be an obvious FURIA money line for me, and I think the odds, again, kind of justified there. I think that's fair. So we'll hop over into what we're looking at for parlays for tomorrow, and we'll kind of do some live breakdowns here. So first one up, I do like Navi on the money line, but I think I'll lay off of that in terms of a favorite play. I think if we're looking to build something super safe, I do like Spirit. I think Spirit probably wins 2-0. I don't know what their map pick here. They're leaning, we think it's going to be map 2. I would agree, but I think Spirit probably wins both of the maps, but we'll play it safe here. Let's go map 1. On G2, presumably G2's pick, we'll go like an over 19.5 just to be safe on this one. So we need both teams to win at least 7 rounds. And then I like FURIA on the money line, which brings us close to even money there. And I think we'll lock it at that for the first one. We'll go 2 units on that. And then for the next one up, I don't know if I want to bite the bait on Navi on the money line. We'll go a map 1 on this one for sure. On an over. So we'll go map 1 over. I like 20.5 on this. I think both teams could definitely win 8 rounds. I think Astralis has been sneaky, and Navi's, I don't think they'll lose either of the maps necessarily, but I think they'll definitely be close. I think G2 could do the same thing, but we just picked that. And I do like FURIA to win their map pick. I don't think that they'll drop any map that they choose against Liquid, so we'll go FURIA map 2 along with the over 20.5 for map 1 of Astralis and Navi. We'll drop another 2 units on this one, which I like, and then let's get a third one out of here. Maybe something all day, a little bit of a long shot here. Give me Virtus.pro and FaZe map 1 over 20.5. All of the map 1s so far in this tournament have been pretty close to, which I think is another piece of reasoning for me to kind of justify this myself. So we're going to go with that. We're going to go with FURIA to win their map because, again, I think that's probably the safest thing that you can get out of that FURIA matchup. I think Spirit also wins their map. Presumably it's going to be 2 in this matchup because it's a little bit higher stakes, but I think they would win both maps in this scenario. I don't think there's anything G2 could really surprised them on at this stage in the game. I know Passion UA did, and G2 is obviously a better team than Passion UA. Should be able to be close, but I think Spirit squeaks them both out. And then give me Navi and Astralis on that map 1 again. We'll go with that, and we'll anchor that. So that's going to be 5 times, so we're just going to throw a unit on that. That'll be our kind of all-day play. So breaking them down accordingly here, we'll go back into total bets for tomorrow. So we're going to have 2 2-unit plays. Those 2 2-unit plays will be G2 and Spirit map 1 over 19.5 total rounds, presumably G2's map pick. And then FURIA just to win the match over Liquid. Liquid's been a mess. FURIA should wipe the floor with them. And then we're going to take FURIA map 2 on the money line. So we need FURIA to win their map pick. There's nothing really in the pool that Liquid should be able to beat them on or really come close. And then Astralis and Navi map 1 over 20.5. I think that'll be a competitive first map on Astralis's pick. And then for the kind of all-day play, we'll do that same map 1 over 20.5 from Astralis and Navi. We will do over 20.5 for Virtus.pro and FaZe as well. We will do FURIA on the map 2 money line, and then Spirit, presumably their map pick, map 2, we'll do Spirit on the map 2 money line. So that's going to be a unit to pay roughly 5, and then each of the other ones are roughly 2x here and there, 2.32 and 1.82, so about double ups, I guess, if you even the 2 out. But yeah, looking forward to bringing you all some cash here tomorrow. If you're not in the Discord, highly recommend it. We'll drop plays throughout the day there tomorrow, and then, of course, for the rest of the tournament, we're all over CS in the Discord there, so there's no shortage of content by any means. Give us a follow on Twitter as well if you haven't. We have the JuiceBox Twitter over in the bottom left-hand corner, as well as my Twitter at WhiteyWins. The LOCKCITY Twitter is at _LOCKCITY as well. You can give that a follow too. We drop a good amount of cheat sheets on our Twitter, and then of course on Free Sheet Friday, which took place today, we drop everything that we drop in the Discord that you can also just get free access to throughout the weekend Discord, but we drop the full slate of cheat sheets on Twitter on Fridays as well. So stay tuned for more CS content. We'll throw another video out there tomorrow for the Sunday matchups. And then after that, we do have a 4-day break before the playoffs. So we'll do another video there either Sunday or Monday. Maybe take a day to regroup and assess all of the matchups going into playoffs and make sure we have some quarterfinal bangers of parlays to continue bringing y'all some cash. But thank you for listening. Hope everyone has a great rest of your Friday, great weekend. If you don't end up listening to another one of these, and we'll end up seeing you hopefully in the Discord, on Twitter, or in the comment section of one of these videos on either Spotify or YouTube. Take care. Peace.